Hej alle sammen. Jer der følger med ved måske, at mig og Nathalie har været en tur til Stockholm, hvor vi har været til en koncert, hvor de har spillet klassisk musik, faktisk klassisk spilmusik, med musik, som udelukkende stammer fra The Legend of Zelda, min favoritspilserie. Link er meget glad, og jeg var utrolig glad for at komme afsted. Og I kan se nogle af mine optagelser lige her, og også et lille interview med en, der hedder Jason Michael Paul, som Jason Michael Paul, det var mange fornavne på en gang, som var producer på den her dejlige klassiske koncert. Så det skal I se, og så skal I huske at give den her video et like, og så ellers, ja, nyd klippene og nyd musikken. Klokken er lidt over 6, så hvis jeg ser lidt træt ud, så er det derfor. Mig og Nathalie, vi er på vej til Stockholm, her fra Odense. Og i aften, der skal vi se en koncert i Stockholm på noget, der hedder Globen. Og det er en koncert med Zelda-musik, og det har I måske set, hvis I har fulgt med i vores vlogs. I skal selvfølgelig være med på turen, så I må endelig se den her video helt vejen til slutningen. Selvfølgelig. Giv den et like og alt det der, som I ved, I skal. Jeg får forhåbentlig muligheden for at lave et interview med en, der hedder Jason, som står for selve koncerten. Og jeg glæder mig sådan helt ekstremt for, ja, I ved jo godt, at jeg er en Zelda-fan. Så for eksempel herover. Der har vi Link. Vi har Link igen. Og vi har stor bog om Zelda. Vi har et eller andet sted i den her reol. Jo, vi har Majora's Mask. Og vi har også Zelda-spil heroppe. Så vi har lidt af hvert her. Så følg med. Og jeg håber, det bliver en fed tur. I skal i hvert fald være med på den. Hej.
Nej, du skal ikke så.
Hej, så er vi endelig ankommet til vores hotelværelse i Stockholm, og klokken er nu lidt i 2, og lidt over 2, så skal vi snakke med ham Jason, så vi prøver at finde det over, for vi ved faktisk ikke, hvor det er. Så vi er lige kommet, og så skal vi allerede videre med det samme, og så håber vi bagefter, efter interviewet, at vi kan nå tilbage, og så lige klæde om, før vi skal ud og spise med de andre, og se koncerten i aften. Kan du vinke til kameraet, Nathalie? Fedt. Vi ses. Jason, how did you come up with the idea for such a concert like this?
It just started when I was in my early 20s. I started working with Square Enix, the makers of Final Fantasy, and I created a project for them called Dear Friends Music from Final Fantasy, and that was really the beginning of where we are now. So obviously I went from Final Fantasy to Zelda, the next best thing, or the best thing in my opinion, but so yeah, that's where it really started, and this is one of my 5th time in Stockholm presenting video game music concerts, so it's a very exciting moment.
So what kind of education do you have?
Education? Well, I university. I've also been in the entertainment industry since I was very young. My father was an entertainer. My father was also a musician, and I was also I was a musician as well, but I wasn't obviously professional. It was just more of a hobby, and I've just been kind of dabbling and working in the video game industry since I was about 21 years old, and of course, I've worked with the likes of Luciano Pavarotti and kind of took those two passions and kind of came up with this idea. So kind of really the idea came out of my passion and my desire to learn about Japanese culture, and this was something that had been taking place in Japan. Sans the video, it was just purely orchestral and symphonic, and kind of really the early inspiration was obviously Final Fantasy, but even before that, it was with Koichi Sugiyama from Dragon Quest. And that was really where I got the idea. It was just kind of the right place, right time, working with Square Enix, them giving me the opportunity in North America to create the show. And that's kind of my education. A lot of it's been through trial and error, a lot of actual doing, and not kind of just like sitting back and watching in an armchair. I'm really someone who actually does it, and that's really been the source of my education. Very hands-on.
That sounds great. So how have your shows been like? How do people react to your shows?
The reaction with Zelda has been nothing but fabulous. A lot of people are just really impressed with everything, and this show and my other shows too. I mean, but this show and my latest shows are really kind of a culmination of a lot of years of doing this. And so I think I've really, I don't want to say mastered, but I think that I've kind of developed a formula, and I've been able to kind of combine all these years of experience and really being able to deliver what I think is an over-the-top symphonic video game experience. With visuals, of course. I think that, I've been able to really just learn from all my past mistakes, and that's what I've really poured into these latest projects.
So I've always been like a great fan of like Zelda and other games. So do you have like a favorite piece, both in traditional classic music and perhaps a favorite piece in video game music?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Holst. Gustav Holst. In fact, I did a concert with the Royal Stockholm Philharmonic at the Konserthuset, and I think it was in 2000. I want to say 2006 or 2007. I can't recall, but we actually opened the concert with Planets from Holst, and that for me is really kind of it's a great introduction to people who aren't familiar with symphonic music, and I think that was really a momentous piece of work, especially relating to more sci-fi type work. So I really like that. It's one of my favorites. And then of course with video game music, I'm a big fan of a lot of the Castlevania music, Final Fantasy, of course, World of Warcraft. Pretty much all the music I feature as part of my shows is kind of. But as far as Zelda's concerned, I've been a real big fan of a lot of the Majora's Mask pieces. We've added a new piece of Majora's Mask to this program, and it's really nicely done. And I've been really hands-on in a lot of the newer pieces that we've been doing, so it's been a lot more rewarding professionally because I am more hands-on. And so I would say that the new arrangements that I've done for this particular Master Quest series are some of my favorites. A Link Between Worlds, really kind of taking the themes from Low and High and making a wonderful piece of that. I really like that one. And then of course with the new Majora's Mask being released and the new piece that we added, I'm really proud of it. And it's really a really amazing piece, and it combines a lot of piano with full orchestra, and it's really nicely done.
I was kind of naive before going to this symphony because I haven't really enjoyed a lot of classical music before, unless it's in games. But is it difficult working with a new orchestra every time? Because I thought you were like traveling around, but these are like, a lot of Swedish guys.
Yeah. Well, it's not difficult because, obviously I've been doing this a long time. So the orchestras that we work with are very top-notch, very high level. They're not youth orchestras. They're not musicians that are amateur. They're professional musicians that can typically sight read, that can pick up the music very quickly. And for this type of application and what we do, you need to have those types of musicians. But I would say that, the orchestras and the musicians that we hire are at a very high level. So it's not as difficult as it may seem. But of course, they always have their challenges. You know, it's a lot of coordination. You know, when you have 66 musicians and 24 voices, which for this particular performance tonight, we actually have 40 members of the choir, which is more than we usually do. So it's even more people to manage. So the hardest part of that is not so much the musicianship, it's more of just the management and making sure that all these musicians are taken care of, and that we can really keep everyone together. The hardest job is the conductor's job. You know, actually being on stage, conducting these new musicians and leading these musicians. You know, she has the hardest job. So my job is just more or less to support and making sure that I do my due diligence in getting her the best quality musicians in the particular city. And that's perhaps the hardest part. But it's pretty easy. I have to say, I've been doing this for a while, and I take a lot of pride in being good at what I do and having a lot of relationships with musicians from all over the world. And as a producer, you know, my job is to be very resourceful and making sure that I have a lot of network to be able to pull off a worldwide tour of such a highly coveted brand for the Nintendo Legend of Zelda.
So I heard we were talking about before this interview that you have some other projects as well as this project. So are you ever coming to Denmark with some kind of show?
We're planning on coming with this show. It's just we're looking at 2016 as part of a 30th anniversary. We just couldn't pull it together for this particular run of dates. So the goal is to be there for 2016, because we understand that the Denmark market is a great market, and we're hopeful to be able to give fans what they want, which is a video game music concert, and more importantly, a video game music concert devoted to the Legend of Zelda.
So do you have like a favorite game or you grew up with?
Yeah, I mean, my video gaming experience takes me back to when I was very young. You know, from the Commodore 64 to Pong to Atari to Sega Genesis 16-bit to obviously the NES days, the very beginning of Nintendo. But as far as titles and games are concerned, I've always been a big fan of Castlevania. I played the crap out of it to the point where, you know, I wouldn't say my hands would bleed, but it was definitely pretty much an addiction at a young age. Mario, of course, Zelda, the gold cartridge, you know, that's really where my my education and my involvement in gaming started. You know, was being a gamer. You know, and growing up in the States in San Francisco, you know, it was kind of what we did. You know, I played a lot of sports growing up, but I also played video games. And my parents always encouraged it because they liked the idea of me being at home and my friends being there too, so they didn't have to worry about me. They just knew that I was in my dungeon, you know, playing video games.
So if you have do you have any advice to young people who want to have a career inside music? And
I believe in hard work. I believe in when you really are passionate about, you know, what you do. I think it shows, and I think it's contagious. And you know, I just hope that anyone who is young and inspiring, you know, that is inspired by what it is, whatever it is, whether it's video games, whether it's art, is that, you know, they pursue that, you know. And I know that everyone doesn't have, you know, the best of luck, but at least at the end of the day, if you work hard and you know, you really put in as much energy as you expect to get out of it, I think that that's the only advice I would give to people, is just, you know, stay true to your focus, you know, stay true to your vision, and always make sure that whatever it is that you do, you stay committed. I think ultimately that has been what's led to my success. You know, when I first started doing video game music, everyone was like, what are you're gonna do? You're going from presenting Luciano Pavarotti and the Three Tenors to video game music? No way. It's not possible. It's not gonna happen. No way. And then I sold out the first show, you know, and now everyone's calling me. You know, it was once regarded, video game music was once regarded as elevator music, and now I can't even keep up with the amount of presenters and people that want to take on the show and present the show. So, you know, it went from no one knowing what this is to becoming a worldwide phenomenon and becoming globally accepted as this pop music phenomenon. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
If people want to buy a ticket or follow the tour, where can they do so?
Well, I have my own. I'm on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. My company is on Instagram and also on Facebook. But as far as the Zelda Symphony is concerned, we have a website. It's www.zelda-symphony.com, and you can get all the information there. You can get schedules. You can get the program. You could send in request. We also have a new online web shop that we just launched, where if we have other merchandise that's from past shows that's not available at this show. Yeah, it's a great resource to learn more about what it is that we're doing. You can also follow us on Twitter. Zelda Symphony is the tag or the handle, the Twitter handle, and then of course Facebook is the Zelda Nintendo Facebook page, which is also a great source of information. I've been looking very much forward to tonight, and thank you for sitting down with us and talking, and best of luck tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and I'm as equally as excited about this show as you may be. Every show is always an exciting experience. It's always something new. Every audience is different, and so it's a great thing to be a part of.
Jeg håber, I kunne lide interviewet og de billeder og den musik, som jeg optog fra eventet. Vi sad helt op foran, og det var en helt vildt fed oplevelse. Jeg vil gerne have, at I skriver ned i kommentarerne, hvad for et spil I gerne vil se en symfoniorkesterkoncert fra. Jeg ved, at Jason for eksempel, som man siger, har lavet noget med Final Fantasy før, hvilket også er en af mine yndlingsserier. Så det gad jeg også godt at se. Derudover så har jeg en lille sjov ting her til sidst. Det var... Vi fik sådan nogle, både mig og Nathalie, sådan nogle små knappenåle. Ikke knappenåle, hvad hedder det? Manchetknapper fra The Legend of Zelda. Så ved jeg ikke, om I kan se dem her. Men de er formet som emblemet fra Hyrule, tror jeg faktisk det er. Og så er det formet som trekanter, som hver del af det hellige relikvie Triforcen fra spillet. For dem, der ved det. Vi fik også en lille pind her, som skulle sidde her på ens tøj. Det gjorde jeg ikke, men den er fin at have. Det er dejligt minde derfra. Jeg håber, I kunne lide videoen, og så må I ellers have en dejlig dag, og vi ses. Og husk selvfølgelig at like videoen, og husk at dele den med jeres venner. Hej hej.
Abonner på vores kanal og hjælp os meget gerne ved at dele vores videoer med dine venner.